Mr. McDonald, what's the ask tonight, or should we be asking Mr. Zahn? Are we looking for, is there any disagreement with the approach to go forward with the 200,000?
My understanding, this is just a presentation from the park agency on what they recommend, and it's for you to give instruction back to them.
We haven't finished with our skate park discussion. We just kind of need to balance this out a little bit, because there was another side to the skate park discussion that we had that I hope I can go forward with. I'm April Bilderbach. I'm another Parks Agency member. I wrote down a speech here because I'm terrible at public speaking, so I'm going to get through this, and then of course I'll welcome your questions. The Parks Agency was recently asked by Mayor Jenkins to formally recommend a skate park design and confirm our recommended location for said park. At our January meeting, the Parks Agency members discussed the 3 recommended sites that were provided to us that will fit in the location that has been referred to as the west site in Powderworks Park. The agency came to a consensus on the best design for the park, which we feel has the most variety for the skaters, keeping in mind the costs involved and available space. Although this was a public meeting and the skate park was on the agenda, no local skaters came to our meeting to discuss what they would like to see in their park. So this decision was made by the agency members alone. We are estimating the cost of the recommended skate park to be approximately $200,000, including land prep and a fence that will need to be installed between the soccer field and the proposed park. With that said, it is our responsibility as an agency to always keep in mind what will best serve the citizens of DuPont. And we feel that $200,000 would be better spent serving the majority of the citizens rather than a small percentage of people in our community. According to Appendix C of the Parks Master Plan, Table C13, when the youth and adults were asked, and I quote, "When funds are available, which of the following facilities should have the highest priorities in DuPont?" End quote. Number 4 on this was indoor space for activities. Keep in mind that number 1, sports fields, and number 3, a citywide trail system, have or are being completed, and that at this time there is no location or funding for a swimming pool, which ranked number 2. However, we do have the funds and space available to create an indoor space that can be used for a wide variety of indoor activities and events, but currently these funds have been set aside for the skate park, which falls into number 7 on this position in the survey, accounting for only 6% of our population. Section D12, Part D, states, and I quote, "There is clearly a need for indoor space in DuPont, given the rainy winters, the lack of indoor facilities, and the high activity levels of residents. A community center may be an option that is feasible and affordable in the long term. For example, the existing City Hall could be converted for use as the community center," which we now know is the community center. Right now, the community center at 303 Barksdale, as you know, has a very small main room, and the rest of the space is filled with empty offices, a kitchen that cannot be used by people renting the space, and hallways. In its current state, this facility's use is very limited. We are asking Council to reconsider building a skate park at this time and instead put a large portion of the money that has been set aside towards improvements and repairs to the 303 Barksdale location in order to convert the building into a usable community center. It has been pointed out to us before that there was a promise made to the kids in this community long ago to build a skate park. However, the Parks Agency is supposed to use the Parks Master Plan as a guide when making recommendations to Council, and this guide makes it very clear that indoor space is more important to the community as a whole. In addition, unlike the skate park, the community center will bring revenue to the city, and in an economic time such as this, putting money into projects that will benefit the citizens while bringing revenue to the city is the fiscally responsible thing to do. Public involvement is a critical aspect of the Parks Agency planning and decision-making process. Having said this, the Parks Agency would like to hold a town hall type meeting in April where the citizens can be invited to speak about what they would like to see in their community center and activities they would like to see being held there. We would love to see both youth and adults in our community attend, as well as local organizations such as the Moms Club, Forever Young Seniors, Girl and Boy Scouts, and the Ovation Academy. The Parks Agency has some wonderful ideas for activities and events for all ages to be held at the community center. We are looking for approval from the council in moving forward with this project. We would like to have the community center converted by mid-fall at the latest so that our citizens will be able to use it come rainy season. We hope you will consider our request, as we know this community center would better serve the community as a whole.
Thank you, Ms. Bilderback. What we have before us is a request. The park agency is wanting to hold some town hall meetings to discuss what we just heard. And I would recommend as an extension onto that after those town hall meetings that the council will discuss that information at their first workshop in May, which would be the third Tuesday in May. Council, I'm going to ask for comments, and it looks like we have a queue. Councilmember Westman?
Yes, I'd like to know, was that a unanimous decision by the park agency?
No, it was not. We had one member who was for the skate park, and we have one member that has remained neutral.
Okay, so what was the final vote then for?
What is that, 5, 6, and 1? Is that correct? 5, 6, and 1. 5, 1, and 1.
5, 1, and 1.
Correct.
Thank you.
And that was 5 people for the community center versus the skate park.
So as a body, though, the park agency as a body, that was the decision?
Correct.
Supermajority.